90.3 FM. My name is Esther Wachiku, and these are the top stories. U.S. court sentences man to 40 years for beheading Go-Kada founder. Also, you have here, Ipman gives condition to buy petrol from Dangote Refinery. Dangote speaks on forceful exportation. Bello Turuji confirms 50 million naira levy on Zamfara community targets human rights. And court sentences man to 40 years for beheading Go-Kada founder. Details now. Thank you for staying with us. We'll begin where a 25-year-old American, Tyrese Haspil, has been sentenced to 40 years to life in prison for the brutal murder of his former boss, Fahim Saleh, the 33-year-old founder and CEO of Nigerian transportation company Go-Kada. The sentencing comes 2 months after a New York State Supreme Court jury convicted Haspil on charges of first-degree murder, second-degree grand larceny, and other offenses. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg Jr. issued a statement following the sentencing. He stated that Tyrese Haspil is facing accountability for brutally murdering and decapitating Fahim Saleh, a kind, generous and empathetic person who positively impacted the world. Even after the defendant stole him to fund a lavish lifestyle, Mr. Saleh still gave him a second chance. While today's sentence would bring Mr. Saleh back, I hope it provides his family a sense of closure as they continue to mourn his painful loss. Prosecutors revealed that surveillance footage from July 13, 2020 captured Haspil following Saleh into his lower Manhattan apartment building. Once inside the elevator that led directly to Saleh's residence, Haspil attacked him with a taser, incapacitating him before fatally stabbing him multiple times in the neck and the torso. The next day, Haspil returned to the apartment where he dismembered and decapitated Mr. Saleh's body using the saw and placed the body parts in pre-ordered construction bags. Saleh's body was discovered by his cousin, who went into his apartment after not hearing from him for 24 hours. Upon discovering the horrific scene, she immediately contacted the authorities. Thereby, the investigation revealed that Haspil, who had served as Saleh's executive assistant since 2018, embezzled nearly $400,000 from his boss's accounts. Saleh had discovered the theft, but rather than taking legal action, he allowed Haspil the chance to repay the money. Back home in Nigeria, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, IPMAN, has expressed its readiness to buy premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, from Dangote Refinery, provided the price is lower than what is currently available to them. IPMAN President Abubakar Meigandi said his members are ready to patronize Dangote fuel, but are currently not aware of the price of petrol from the refinery. He outlined that they would be having a meeting with Dangote Refinery, adding that they have no reason to boycott products from the facility, particularly if it eventually turns out that its prices are lower. The statement comes as a direct response to the submission by the Vice President of Dangote Industries Limited, Edwin Devakumar, who accused local petroleum marketers of boycotting Dangote Refinery's petrol despite offering lower prices. Edwin made the allegation while speaking during an X-Space session organized by Nairametrics, where he said only 3% of local petroleum marketers were interested in buying its recently rolled out petrol. Meanwhile, Dangote has disclosed that it is being forced to export 95 to 97% of its premium motor spirits. The refinery explained that this is due to low patronage by marketers in Nigeria. The Vice President, Oil and Gas at Dangote Industries Limited, Devakumar Edwin, disclosed this on Wednesday during a particular X-Space session which was organized by Nairametrics. Now, the indigenous oil firm revealed that it sells only 2 to 3% of its petrol to oil marketers who are willing to part purchase from them. Edwin gave insights into the challenges facing the Dangote Refinery and the country's oil and gas sector. The development is actually coming whereby on Sunday's data for NNPCL to lift Dangote's fuel approaches without a feasible plan. NNPC demands permanent office space and stating therefore that there is a requested dedicated office space for around 10 of its employees at the Dangote Refinery as part of an agreement involving the supply of crude oil. Also disclosing further during the space that unlocking how Dangote Refinery ships price, the Vice President of Oil and Gas at Dangote Group, Devakumar Edwin, disclosed this development. He explains that NNPC made this request since it will be responsible for supplying the crude oil, monitoring the production process, and repurchasing the refined products in Nigeria. In another development, notorious bandit Bello Turji has confirmed imposing a 50 million naira levy on Muruki, a village in Zurmi local government area of Zamfara state. In the new propaganda video purportedly recorded on the 10th of September, Turji not only reiterated the levy but also criticized prominent figures, including human rights lawyer Bulama Bukati. The revelation comes 3 days after Bukati highlighted the extortion on his X handle, noting that the levy was initially set at 50 million naira, but later reduced to 30 million naira following negotiations by the villagers. The reduction was reportedly in response to compensation demands for the killing of Turuji's cattle by the army base's new commandant stationed in Muriki. In the 5-minute video, Turiji, armed with a sophisticated rifle and flanked by heavily armed foot soldiers in military camouflage, confirmed the head levy and ridiculed Burkati in that particular instance. You're currently listening to the World News at 12 and Voice of the People, 92.3 FM. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll head into more news and a news analysis segment. And I actually have right here in the studio our analyst for today, and that is Mr. Chukwuma Okoro. Mr. Chukwuma Okoro is a political, national and social affairs commentator. He's also an author of the book titled The Future of Politics. So we're expecting for him to give us more in-depth insight on the questions that we posed at him. Just stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. This is still the World News at 12 and Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. In more news reports, the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress in the 2023 general elections, Omoyele Sowore, has reacted to the order for his arrest by the Department of State Services. The DSS had in a leaked memo earlier today ordered Sowore's arrest upon his return to Nigeria. The leaked memo was signed by DSS official Adeola D. Ali, and it has the directive of the newly appointed Director General of the DSS, Adeola Ajayi. The memo cited Sowore's involvement in the recent 10-day End Bad Governance protest. The protest, which called for widespread reforms and the end to bad governance, were met with crackdown by security forces. Reacting to the order for his arrest in a post on his X handle, Sowore, who is also the publisher of Sahara Reporters, described the secret police as lawless and added that the service has upgraded his status and name from their watch list. He criticized President Bola Tinubu's administration, saying the government has demonstrated an upgraded inability to effectively track and apprehend terrorism suspects, bandits and kidnappers, while the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has yet to arrest former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. And he wrote, which I will read: Meanwhile, the Lawless at official DSS NG has upgraded my status and name on their watch list for arrest upon arrival in Nigeria. It is imperative to recognize that our country, Nigeria, requires salvation and our people need liberation, which will necessitate considerable effort. I intend to return home shortly. I mean, very soon. End quote. Sowore also added that nothing can stop an idea whose time has come, referring to the hashtag End Bad Governance in Nigeria Nigeria, scheduled for October 2024. Mr. Chukwuma Okoro, good afternoon. And once again, thank you for joining me on the World News at 12.
Good afternoon, Esther, and thanks for having me.
Let me start off with a situation where a notorious terrorist, because this is beyond someone who I will refer to as a bandit. He's a terrorist. He has killed, he has maimed, he has decapitated livelihoods. That is Bello Turji. He imposed about 50 million naira levy on a particular Moroki village in Zurmi local government area of Zamfara state. Now, this is about 2 or 3 occasions that Bello Turji has publicly come out via social media or via video disclosing that the ransom is being imposed in that community. Now, the community members are afraid. They tried to negotiate with him, all right, and he said, okay, 30 million naira. Now, rights activists are calling on television, calling on the Nigerian security agencies. The chief of defense staff recently said that the time of Bello Turji is at a close, is almost at an end. But here's the thing, this man has publicly and brazenly come out on several occasions. I don't know why it is difficult for his location to be, identified by the security operatives. He has literally ridiculed our security operatives and our intelligence agency. And here is a determination to apprehend Omoyele Sowore as soon as he actually lands in the country. What would you consider to be a priority of our security agencies? The situation with Bello Turji or having to apprehend Omoyele Sowore, whom is an individual asking for what everyone is asking for, the right to breathe?
Esther, you've already said it. You have prioritized it for the government.
No, I'm just asking, what do you think should be a priority?
Okay, what should be a priority?
Yes, for the security
is it
agencies.
What should be, or what is, as we see now, what is clearly the priority of the government or the security agencies is to clamp down on people. Civil rights, members of the civil rights community, members of the civil society organization, journalists, whistleblowers. That is clearly the forte of the present government. So they have prioritized it, and that is what we see. Esther, do you also recall that at a certain time, this Storage Bello was turbaned as an emir or what of his community? And you have government officials in attendance. Are you aware of that?
He has actually alleged that he has relationship with some government officials.
It is, Esther, it's not just an allegation by Storage Bello. We also had a cleric, one Mohammed, in Sokoto, who said, last week or early this week, he said, Minister of State for Defense, Matawa Bello, you cannot tell us that you don't know the whereabouts of Storage Bello because you have been providing him logistics. As a governor, you did that. You provided him logistics, you paid bills to him, and you turn around to place a 20 million naira bounty on his head.
Matawa has denied on several occasions.
It's a huge joke. This is a cleric that has come out to say, I know, he said it while he was preaching in a Madara. So it's not something that he said in hiding or that he said it and walked away and that security agencies are looking for him. He said it in the open. And the man has not recanted. So obviously, the present government, the present security agencies under the watch of this government have made their priorities clear. They are very intentional when it comes to arresting members of civil society organizations, journalists. They just declared Sowore wanted. He's on the watch list. That any day he steps into this country, he should be arrested. They declared David Hundeyin
wanted as well.
They are still holding Pidom. And all of those people.
His court appearance was earlier postponed when they actually slammed 10 million naira fine on the End Bad Governance protesters, about 10 of them.
At least they are still holding him. He's still in police custody.
Yes.
And all of that. So, if you talk about priority, Nigerians already know the priority of this government. The government is clearly protectionist. The government has prioritized its efforts towards clamping down, gagging people, gagging Nigerians ahead of Fearless October.
You think that's basically what this is all about?
That is what it's all about. They don't want people, they want to deliberately instill fear and intimidate people against ruling.
Would they say that Sowore has committed treason for the DSS to have placed him on red alerts and declared him wanted as soon as he steps into this country?
Unfortunately,
what could it be? Could it be because he galvanized for the End Bad Governance protest, which of course was written to the security agencies? They approved. The police actually accompanied the protesters while they carried on with their protest. So what exactly is the offense committed here that the DSS would be interested in Omoyele Sowore? What other offense?
Unfortunately, the police watch list that put Sowore's name.
No, DSS watch list.
Sorry, the DSS watch list didn't say. If they said, I'm not aware. So we can only speculate until I'm happy the young man has also said, my country, I'm coming back very, very soon. So when he steps in here and they arrest him, they will now tell us why they put his name on the watch list. And on what basis are they arresting him? That is what we need to find out. So whatever you and I say here will be on the realm of speculation. Like I said, if they have profiled him and said, look, this is why we want him. This is why we want to arrest him. I'm not aware of that.
The report is stating that the memo by the DSS was leaked. And apparently, based on that disclosure, the DSS official Adiola D. Ali, and it also has the directive of the newly appointed Director General of the DSS, Adiola Ajayi. The question is, we were thinking that the new Director General of the DSS will be quite different from, the previous one, where their intelligence, their secret and covert operations will be targeted towards serious insecurity, the insecurity bedeviling the nation, the cabal, the conspirators, those who are plunging this country in the crisis it is plunging it. And we're thinking what we needed to hear was reports on those who are behind this, how they have been apprehended, what secret organization is behind this, rather than having to hear that they're placing one particular individual on a watch list when we are seeing a terrorist brazenly disclosing, demanding a levy 50 million naira on villagers where their means of livelihood is cattle rearing. How will they be able to make that money? They are starving. They literally cannot even eat. You know already what is going on right now in the north. They're having a disaster there. So in what instance would this help? And recall that with the disaster, 20 Boko Haram commanders actually, were released from the prison they were kept in there. So it means that we still have more issues coming up. The Sambeso forest too is flooded. So right now they're all over the place. Shouldn't that be the criteria, or what you call the necessitating factor for the security agencies, rather than having to quell whatever intending protest that's to come up next month?
The analysis you have made here is you just amplified what I said and what you and I said earlier. But I would like to talk about what you expect the current DG of DSS to do.
Yes.
And let me just briefly give you a rundown of how we got here with the DSS. The DSS is a product of what we used to know as the NSO. It was formed by Obasanjo in 1976 after the coup that killed Murtala Muhammad. So there was nothing like an intelligence agency in charge of internal security. So when Obasanjo formed the NSO, it was clearly put together to ensure that the regime, that any government in power is protected. So that is the toga, that is the gap that the NSO wore up until, and they did it in such ways brazenly that they had to clamp down on civilians. Any little infraction, any idea that you want to dissent to views of the government, the NSO will come after you. It was under the watch of Rafin Dadi, one Rafin Dadi, who was formerly a police officer, and he was drafted into the NSO. Up until 1985, when Babangida came and wanted to wear a human face, he now balkanized the NSO. That's what gave birth to the SSS, Directorate of State Security Services, the National Intelligence Agency, and the Directorate of Military Intelligence, the DMI. So what we have today as DSS, their core mandate was, the first thing that was guard against internal threats against national security. Now, another of their core mandate is to protect the president, the vice president, the Senate president, the Speaker of House of, and the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and foreign visitors, foreign heads of state. So their core mandate is clearly around protectionism, being protectionist of the people in power. And that is exactly what they are doing now. You see, DSS guard people, ordinarily people that should work on themselves, that should work alone on their own. So that is now clearly the mandate of the DSS. And the person who is in charge of DSS now grew through the ranks. He wasn't brought from an external organization. So he has already imbibed that culture of trying to protect the president, trying to protect the government.
Okay.
And that is why he is more inclined to arresting people that are perceived as the opponents of the government, unarmed people that are clearly viewed as opponents of this government. So that is why they leave the major issue of insurgency, the major issue of terrorism, the major issue of banditry, which pose more threats to our internal security, to our national security, than what the civil society organizations are doing. So that is why you see these things happening. So what we need to do about the DSS is to reform it so that they can also understand clearly that their duty is not to start chasing journalists.
I thought that was basically what this new DSS DG was going to do, to reform the agency.
He cannot do it until as an individual he is debriefed and
debriefed by who? The president?
It's possible the president can give him that brief. Look, this is what I want.
When you are the head of an agency, you come in and you discover that there is a rot, there is an inconsistency.
The man doesn't see that there is a rot here because he grew through the ranks. That is what I want you to understand. So we need a higher authority, maybe the National Security Advisor, to say, look, this is what we want you to do. We want you to start chasing bandits.
They're not bandits, they're terrorists. They're killing people.
Bandits, terrorists, insurgents or whatever. We need you to focus your attention on them and allow the police to do law enforcement, civil law enforcement. But the NSA has not done that. So you don't expect anything different from Adeola Ajayi because he grew through the ranks. And clearly the DSS has been fashioned to be a protectionist agency.
To the government. To
the government, to people in power. That is why you see them, they don't look after terror. They are quick to tell you that they know the mastermind, the organizers of end bad governance.
Yes.
They are quick to tell you that, look, this person is trying to bankroll the protest. But they will not tell you, we have a list of people sponsoring terrorism.
And we are going after them.
They are quick to tell you that they know that Joe Ajero, the NLC president, is trying to finance terrorism, cyber crime, cyber subversion and all of that.
They even said he was going to meet the Andrew Wine in the United Kingdom. And that's one of the reasons why they stopped him from going.
From traveling. So until Nigerians should not expect anything different from DSS until they are debriefed and declassified. And their core mandate tailored towards internal security, protecting threats against Nigerians' internal security.
And that responsibility falls on either the National Security
Agency, National Security Advisor,
or the advisor rather, or the president,
or even the Minister of Defense.
Okay, that's very good to know. Thank you so much, Mr. Chukwumakuru. Let's quickly look at Dangote Refinery. Dangote recently disclosed that it is being forced to export 95 to 97% of its premium motor spirit, that it is due to low patronage by marketers in Nigeria. What does that even mean? And then Ipman is given a condition through which they'll be able to buy the products from Dangote. We were thinking that once Dangote Refinery is established, the situation where we're experiencing queues in our filling station, the supposed deregulation of the market is now open. The product will no longer be supposedly hoarded. We'll not be having inconsistencies with the product being supplied or distributed. So what does this actually mean?
Esther, you see, the drama, the movie that is coming out from the oil industry, if the operators are not embarrassed, Nigerians are clearly embarrassed, because this is one movie that is too many, and unfortunately the script writers don't even have a good script to give us. Honestly,
no, because the vice president is saying that the oil firm sells only 2 to 3% of its petrol to all marketers who are willing to buy them.
Which petrol?
There was an X-Space held yesterday where he divulged all of this. Of Dangote's petrol.
Is he talking about diesel? Or is he talking about jet fuel?
No, he's speaking of petrol. He said percent 2 to 3 of his PMS, yes.
Esther, hold on. I am asking you, which petrol is Devakuma Edwin talking about? The petrol that he is here to roll out to Nigerians. And he's already telling us that only 3% of their products are sold to Nigerians. How? That is why I say the script writers of this movie called the oil industry in Nigeria are not even good script writers.
No, not to sell to Nigerians, for marketers to purchase from them. So he's saying that the marketers are not willing to purchase from them. Maybe they are waiting for the marketers to purchase from them.
Let us get something clear here.
Okay.
Devakuma Edwin said
Yes.
that only 3% of their products are being purchased by Nigerians. And I say, which Nigerians? Because they are yet to roll out fuel. They gave us September 15, which is the day after tomorrow, Sunday. So which fuel are they buying? Which 3% are they buying?
I know. They said that the marketers are to come buy from them.
Now,
then they will distribute.
The marketers have said, except you give us at a price lower than what we get now. Esther, this thing is simple economics. You cannot see where they are selling your phone. Same quality, same everything at a different price, and you go for a higher price. Except you want to be Father Christmas. Independent marketers are not Father Christmas. They are in business to make profits. And why is it that between the NNPCL and Dangote Refinery, there is this secrecy, there is this opacity about the price? Nobody knows how much Dangote is going to sell to Nigerians. And now we have the vice president of the Dangote Refinery coming to tell us that they are likely that they are going to sell 95% of their products
to export it.
To export it to outsiders.
95 to
so
97%.
why were we celebrating the Dangote Refinery? Why were we? Because it was actually supposed to come in here to cushion the effects of our government's inability to refine our own products.
Exactly.
But we are seeing a different thing, and that's why I said it is a movie that is no longer interesting to Nigerians. We are clearly tired.
In defense to what Devakuma actually stated, the marketers are saying that tell us how much you intend to sell your products. So if you say you have only 2 to 3 marketers, local marketers wanting to purchase a product from you, you haven't told us your price. We're waiting for you to give us a price as to which we'll be able to buy your products from your facility. So like you rightly asked, what is taking time for Dangote Refinery to disclose to us how much they will sell? The last time they said that it's a Federal Executive Council that will decide how much Dangote will sell its product. So we're expecting that Dangote and the Federal Executive Council would have come together to divulge or discuss or actually come to a conclusion on how much they will sell the product, if that's what they're waiting for. So why the complaint now if the amount of money that the price tag that is meant for the marketers to purchase the product has not yet been revealed? So what exactly
and
do
we
they
are already you see the confusion, you see the contradiction. We hear one thing that marketers are saying we don't even know the price.
Yes.
And except you are going to sell lower than we buy now, we are not going to patronize you.
Exactly.
We will source from outside. And we have a Devakuma Edwin that is telling us, we are going to sell 97% of our products. We are going to export them. So who do we believe now?
No, I don't know.
Clearly, there's a missing link there. It's either the NNPCL or the Dangote Refinery, or both of them, are not telling us the truth. They certainly have something to hide. And that is why we say, please come out in the open and let us make sense of all this that is happening around the Dangote Refinery and fair supply to Nigerians.
Because the marketers are saying they're ready, all right, to do business with Dangote at a price that will be beneficial to both sides, to Dangote and to them.
And this is a Dangote telling you that this is the is the Federal Executive Council,
yes,
or the NNPC that will fix prices for them.
Like I said, Mr. Chukwuma Okoro, it's quite unfortunate what is going on with our petroleum industry. The Dangote Refinery was meant to be like the savior, the bridge to help us scale through this treacherous process we're going through. And we're yet to know precisely what exactly is happening and what is causing the inconsistency in the information they're reading out concerning the products from Dangote, and of course having for them to supply to Nigerians. We've actually run out of time, but I want to say thank you so much for taking your time to share your perspective on some of the questions posed at you on the World News at 12. I sincerely do appreciate your
input. We didn't get to talk about the Labour Party again. Maybe next time.
We'll talk about that later this evening. Alaji, you can see that Alaji has actually come in. Thank you so much, Mr. Chukwuma. Thank you as well. All right, and just before we go, the government of Lagos State has declared intentions to close and reroute traffic on Echo Bridge to make way for urgent fixes by the Federal Ministry of Works. This operation, according to the government, is is set to start next Monday, September 16, and it is expected to continue for 8 weeks. Specifically, the bridge is anticipated to be fully operational again in the second week of November. Now, the State Commissioner for Transportation, Oluwaseun Oshiyemi, made this announcement today. He clarified that the repairs will be divided into 4 stages, during which the bridge will be temporarily fully or partially inaccessible based on the progress of the work, thereby urging motorists to use alternative routes during the repairs. That's a wrap on the World News at 12. My name is Esther Mwachuku. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. Up next is Area Mata Wotalaji.